3 years ago was supposed to be the happiest day of Rita's life. It was her wedding day. The decorations were perfect, guests had flown in from all over the world, and her beautiful dress was waiting. But by sunrise, her dream turned into a nightmare. And by nightfall, her life was shattered beyond recognition. This is the story of how one woman's wedding day exposed the greatest betrayal imaginable. At exactly 4 a.m. on the morning of her wedding, Rita called her fiancé, Bruno. It was a simple, happy call. She just wanted to know if he'd wear the bow tie she bought for him or the long tie he already owned. But his phone was switched off. At that moment, no alarm bells rang. Bruno had always been reliable. Rita figured his battery died or he was simply fast asleep, resting up for their big day. So, she smiled and continued with her own preparations, the excitement buzzing in the air. Rita and Bruno had been staying at the same hotel since Wednesday, getting everything ready. The night before, she'd left him with a kiss, full of hope and anticipation. But by 6 a.m., Bruno's phone was still off. Now, a tiny knot of anxiety began to form in her stomach. Something felt wrong. She grabbed her car keys, handed them to her older brother, and asked him to drive her to the hotel where Bruno was staying. She just needed a little reassurance, to see him and know everything was okay. When they arrived, Rita walked to the reception desk and asked for Bruno. The receptionist smiled, typed his name into the system, and then looked up at her with a calm, professional expression. "I'm sorry, ma'am," she said. "He checked out on Wednesday." Rita froze. The world seemed to stop spinning. Wednesday? That was impossible. They were together at the hotel on Wednesday evening. Her hands started to tremble, and a sudden weakness washed over her entire body. Her brother, seeing the color drain from her face, put a supportive arm around her. He tried to rationalize it, suggesting maybe Bruno didn't like the hotel and moved somewhere else without mentioning it. But why wouldn't he tell her? And why was his phone still switched off? It didn't add up. They drove back home in silence, the knot of anxiety now a heavy stone in Rita's chest. When they arrived, the house was already overflowing with people. Family, friends, guests who had traveled thousands of miles. Rita's best friend and maid of honor had flown in all the way from London. She wouldn't have missed this day for the world after all. It was Rita who had introduced her to her own husband. By 8 a.m., the makeup artist was getting impatient, urging Rita to get ready. But how could she? What could she possibly say? She had no answers. The groom was missing. To spare her from public humiliation, Rita's brother made a split-second, gut-wrenching decision. He stepped up to the microphone and announced to the waiting guests that the groom had been in a terrible accident and was currently in the hospital receiving emergency care. A wave of shock and hushed whispers filled the room. The wedding ceremony proceeded, but it was a hollow performance. Rita's father walked her down the aisle alone, his face a mask of confusion and sorrow. The pastor offered prayers not of celebration, but of hope for a speedy recovery. Guests clapped, but the sound was empty, forced. People ate, they talked, but it wasn't a wedding reception. It felt more like a somber reunion, thick with pity, confusion, and a million unanswered questions. Later that evening, the fouade finally crumbled. Surrounded by her parents and siblings, Rita broke down completely. Through her tears, a darker story began to emerge. She confessed that Bruno had borrowed $6 million from her for a vague business deal he never fully explained. She admitted he had always been secretive, refusing to be seen with her in public places or even take a single picture with her. His excuse was always the same: "I'm just camera shy." She'd searched for him on social media, but his profiles were locked down, with almost no public information. Her sister looked at her, her voice gentle but firm. "Rita," she asked, "you saw all these red flags, and you still kept giving him your money. You still plan to marry him?" Rita couldn't speak. She just wailed, the pain of her dawning realization too much to bear. After a long moment, she whispered through her sobs, "I loved him. I thought I was investing in my husband, in our future. I thought we were going to be one. I didn't see anything wrong with it." Her family gathered around her, consoling her, telling her to forget him, that she deserved so much better and would find true love one day. A month passed. Every call to Bruno went unanswered. Every message was left unread. The silence was deafening. And that's when the horrifying reality crashed down on Rita with its full, devastating weight. She realized she hadn't just been left at the altar, she had been meticulously scammed. The family Bruno had introduced her to. They were actors. The woman Rita believed was her future mother-in-law was arrested, and she confessed she was a complete stranger, hired to play a part. The siblings were fake. The promises were fake. His entire identity had been a carefully constructed illusion, designed for one purpose, to deceive her and steal her money. On top of the $6 million, Rita realized she had given him countless other large sums of money over the years, none of which were ever paid back or accounted for. Then, just 4 days ago, the final, soul-crushing truth came out. One of Bruno's old friends, consumed by guilt, reached out to Rita. He confessed everything. Bruno was already married. He had a wife and 3 children. The money he took from Rita wasn't for a business deal. It was to fund a new life for his real family. The friend revealed that as they spoke, Bruno, his wife, and their children were already in another country, far beyond her reach. His final words to her were a cold comfort: just forget about him. Move on with your life. And that is how Rita's wedding day, what should have been a celebration of love, exposed the greatest betrayal of her life. This story is a painful but powerful reminder of several critical lessons. First, love should never be blind. When you see red flags in a relationship like extreme secrecy about their life, an unwillingness to be seen with you, or constant requests for money, you cannot ignore them. These aren't quirks, they are warnings. Second, trust your intuition. Rita felt something was wrong, but she pushed it down because she wanted to believe in the dream. Your gut feeling is one of your most powerful protective tools. Listen to it. And finally, never invest more in a person than they are willing to invest in you. A healthy relationship is a partnership, not a one-way street of financial and emotional support. If you or someone you know is in a relationship that feels off, or if you're struggling to recover from a betrayal like this, please know that you are not alone. There are resources available, and talking to a professional can help you heal and rebuild. What do you think is the biggest red flag Rita missed? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Your story could help someone else avoid the same heartbreak. Thank you for watching. And if this story resonated with you, please like and subscribe for more content that matters.